What's going on, guys? My name's Jeff and this is Premium Aquatics, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Your Choice Aquatics C-Series chiller. We're back with another video, and if you're new to what we're doing here, this is where we take a look at new products each and every week to help you make an informed decision whether or not that product is right for you, your reef tank, and your budget. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the bell so you can be notified every time that we upload a new video. And today we're going to be taking a look at the Your Choice Aquatics C-Series chiller, so let's jump into it. Alright folks, so we have the Your Choice Aquatics 1/8 horsepower C-Series chiller, and I had opened this up thinking that there was a display box inside, but this is actually how the chiller will come shipped to you. Right on top you have a number of different fittings, as well as your power cord. Looks like it's a good sized power cord, maybe about 6 feet of cord. And I'm going to say that those are probably your inlets for your chiller. So this box is pretty heavy. This chiller, well, the total contents of this box is around 36 pounds, so it's pretty heavy. Alright, so literally styrofoam, and then you have your chiller. As far as your options with your inlet and outlet, you have 3 different options. I currently have the 3/4 inch tips installed. I also have the 5/8 inch and a 3/8 inch, and that's going to cover you for a lot of different options for running tubing to your chiller. One thing that I do recommend, that anytime that I've done any type of work with tubing, I've always brought the fitting with me to the hardware store, because even though it's saying, alright, this is the 5/8 connection, that is in reference to the outer diameter of the tubing, and sometimes depending on how thick the tubing is, you can run into some problems because it's not going to be consistent on the inner diameter, and that's something that you really want to make sure that you get right the first time. You don't want to keep running to the hardware store to get it right. So one thing I always like to do is to bring that fitting with me to the hardware store and get it right the first time. So you get a couple different options, and the relationship that I would make between the fittings is, if you have a larger aquarium, I would go with the larger fittings. If you have a smaller aquarium, I would go with the smaller fitting, because what that's going to do is it's going to limit the ability that the chiller has to actually cool the water. So if you do have, let's say, a 20-gallon aquarium and you live in a warmer climate and you want to make sure that the temperature is going to stay where it should, which is a very important thing to consider, especially with a small aquarium, that you would use a smaller fitting, because that's going to make that change in temperature when this is up and running slower. Whereas if you had these larger fittings, more of that water is going to pass through here faster, and it's going to chill the water faster, which you're going to end up with this constant spike, drop, spike, drop, spike, drop, and that's really not going to do your aquarium any good. Consistency is key when it comes to your aquarium. So again, larger aquarium, larger fittings; smaller aquarium, smaller fittings, and that's going to save you some headaches down the road. So we covered the inlet and outlet and the sizes of the fittings. This model is a 1/8 horsepower, and there are a couple different variations of this chiller out there. The rating for this size chiller is 20 gallons all the way up to 105 gallons. It's really meant for smaller aquariums, and that's really something that you want to make sure that you take into consideration when you're purchasing this item. Overall dimensions, you are looking at 13 inches across, it's 16 inches in height and 19 inches in length. And as far as flow with the chiller, you are looking at a max flow of 520 gallons per hour. So very interesting product. It's definitely something that you want to consider if you live in a warmer environment, because you're constantly battling heat. It's also not a bad idea for folks that live in the Northeast like myself to have, just in case of a form of redundancy that's going to keep your aquarium safe from heat. because things happen. Having a chiller as a backup is probably one of the most important forms of redundancy that's going to keep your aquarium safe in the long run. If you want to take a look at the Your Choice Aquatics C-Series chiller, there's going to be a link in the description below. Alright folks, that's going to do it for today's video. I want to thank you for joining me. If you are new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And if you enjoyed this one, make sure you hit the thumbs up. I will see you next week right here with a brand new video.